while he talks to us. And so Pat, what is it that you like to do, and how long have you been doing? How long have you been drawing and that stuff?
Well, like you just said, I like drawing. I paint a little bit, use pastels, but it's mostly drawing. It's a lot of pens, a lot of charcoal, pencils, whatever I can get my hands on, just because for me that's the easiest. I draw all over my notebooks, all over my sketchbooks, I bring to class, It's a little bit easier than bringing acrylic paints into a classroom. But, I love drawing.
Yeah, you've been doing it for a long time. When did you start drawing?
I suppose when I was a little kid, I've been doing it before, I could walk and before I could talk, everybody, every little toddler's got crayons, that they draw and, Crayola markers and stuff. So, I guess it's just something that built off that.
Who here grew up drawing with crayons, and like the 60? I only had the 8-pack, but with a sharpener, yeah. And you looked for the gold one, and then if you got the gold one, you won a trip to Disney World. But you never bought more than one package. I don't know why they had that thing, but I could never draw in the lines. I'm the silver one that looked great. I don't remember that one. But yeah, there's a. All of us can kind of have grown up with that and have drawn before. So, what's your favorite part about drawing?
For me, I have two really parts that I like about it. The first is just being able to express myself. I write and I play music too, but visual art is something that's different than those. You can just say something that you can't really say in words. You don't have to say something specific. You can just show it. It's a way that I can show my emotions and where I'm at. And a lot of times, originally it was just, I like tigers when I'm little, so I drew tigers. But, as I grew up and I, began a relationship with Christ, that became a lot of what I was focusing on. So that became more and more prevalent in my art. And a lot of my art now is focused on my relationship with God.
How many of you guys are visual people? You got to see things to. RA's got both hands raised. Yeah, I'm a very visual person. I can sit in a lecture at school and not get anything, and he'll be talking forever. But if they play like a 5-minute video, I'll understand everything they're talking about, and I don't understand what it is about seeing it. But like whenever you see something, it clicks in your mind better. And I know a lot of people that are like that, and a lot of us are like that. And visual representations of Christ and the gospel message are really, really cool, and they can really just help things click. So that's really cool that that's something that Pat's all about. So how has God used art to bring you closer to Him?
Well, like I was just saying, it's a lot of my relationship with Him is reflected in my art. So, I can, times when I've been feeling like down, or even times that I'm feeling like awesome, it's a way that I'm able to show that to Him in a way that's different than just praying. And a lot of times. It's weird to say, but like a lot of times my drawings are, it's kind of like a prayer in themselves, it's like, God, like, look at, this is how I feel, sort of thing, so.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And, also, God is, the ultimate artist, He created everything, He created leaves and planets and stars and, the cells in our bodies, so, if we're trying to be like Christ, this is kind of my way of also honoring God and saying, like, I want to be a creator like you.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a really cool perspective. I've never really thought of it that way. So how have you used art to glorify God? What have you done in that? You kind of explained that a little bit, but can you go into a little bit more detail with that?
Well, especially like during school, I would say probably is the most, just because, with a pencil and a notebook, you're always writing notes anyway, and people doodle, like, I doodle all the time, it's all in school. Probably why I didn't do the best, but...
Yeah, me too.
But, when you're drawing Christian things all over the place, you got crosses here, and, it's all over the place, people see that. And, I went to Maine South, I went to a college that was secular, it was like... I wasn't surrounded by Christians, and so a lot of times, especially in college where I only had classes once or twice a week, so like the kids that saw me there, they didn't know my name, they didn't know anything about me, but they saw the Christian things that I was drawing all over the place, and that's what they knew about me.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. So, and that's a little bit. There was kind of a challenge there, to. Is that what you're saying? Is it's like a challenge to really?
Yeah, it's when you're surrounded by people that don't believe that, and you know, a lot of people that look down on that. It's something that, you know, it opens up an environment that you can talk about it, but a lot of times it also creates an environment where people aren't going to want to talk to you. You know, they're going to push you away, and it really affected my social life. I mean, like, I didn't make a whole lot of friends at school just because, you know, there were so many people that, you know, saw that, and that was the first thing they saw, and they went, I don't want anything to do with that kid, you know?
Yeah. Is there anything that you can say to the artists out here that want to use their talent and ability for God to just encourage them in that, to where if they meet those kind of struggles that they can be encouraged and really keep pursuing that?
I guess the biggest thing is prayer is something that you gotta do, you know, and connecting with God is something that's, you know, really important. And if that's the way you're gonna use your talents, you know, don't be ashamed of that, you know. At first, you know, it was really hard for me because, you know, I was scared of that, you know, that I was gonna be pushed away and I wasn't gonna be accepted by a lot of people. But I actually I drew a big Jesus on one of my notebooks just because of that, because I knew I was embarrassed by it. And it kind of forced me, you know, like I was writing my notes and everybody saw the Jesus on it, you know. And so it forced me to be in a place where I was proud of it. You know, I was proud of my relationship with God, and it was something that I wouldn't want to give up, because in the end, God's the one that judges us, not the people around us. You know, they can judge us right now, but their judgment doesn't do anything. You know, God's judgment does everything. And so that's what's important, you know, pleasing God.
I think it's really important for us to remember as we talk about using our talents, and no matter if it's art or if it's, you know, sports or if it's music, no matter what, if we're using it for God, we're gonna get the Tebow fever, you know, where people are gonna put us down for exalting Christ, you know, and I think that, you know, that's something that we really need to keep in mind, that God is who we really have to worry about, what God thinks about us. And if we're glorifying Him with what He's given us, and we're taking risks with that, He's going to bless us. And I hope you guys got to talk about that in your small groups a little bit. But God blesses those who really use their talents and use what He's entrusted to them. Whenever we use that, He blesses us. So just keep that in mind. Right now, we're going to go back downstairs into the sanctuary. So if you guys want to head out that way, we're going to go down there to wrap the next.